notes because I am recording this literally seconds after that video ended. So because of that, since I'm recording this on Monday, there might be some news, some things that happen that I'm not privy to that might change the scope of these projections. So just keep that in mind as we go into it, but these are my week 11 predictions. Look at that. Found a way to still use my fingers, found a way to still use them. Alright, so here's all of our matchups for this week. On the bye, we have the Jaguars, the Dolphins, the Buccaneers, and the Seahawks. Kind of makes sense to have the Bucs and the Seahawks take a bye after they traveled all the way home from Munich. That's a pretty long, arduous trip. So you guys know how we do it. We start with the AFC, move to the NFC, and then we do our inter-conference games. Alright, the Jets at New England. Both teams coming off of a bye week. What's crazy is the AFC East. All 4 teams right now are making the playoffs. That's actually crazy, and with their loss, the Bills fell below the Jets, who didn't even play last week, and the Dolphins are now leading the division. This is a tough one. My brain is telling me Jets. I feel like they are the overall better team, but my heart is telling me to pick the Patriots for some reason. Especially this being at home, I think the Jets are maybe a little bit more banged up than the Patriots are. This feels like a bit of a toss-up. I haven't looked to see who the Vegas favorites are for any of these games yet. Give me... I feel like this is such a toss-up. Whichever one I pick is going to end up being wrong, but give me the Patriots over the Jets. Alright, the Browns going into play against the Bills. I originally thought that this would be Deshaun Watson's season debut, but he actually has to wait a few more weeks. Bills coming off of a big loss to the Vikings. They lost what would, it's being referred to as the game of the year. You don't want to be on the losing end of game of the year, so I think that, both teams coming off of a loss, I think the Bills might be playing a little bit angry in this game. I think they might come into this one with a little bit of fire, especially this being in Buffalo. The fans are going to be crazy in this one. Give me the Buffalo Bills over the Cleveland Browns. The Raiders going into Mile High Stadium to play the Denver Broncos. I picked the Raiders to win last week. They let me down. I feel like every time I pick the Raiders, they let me down. But that being said, the Broncos have just been really bad this season. They lost again. Last week, they're 3-6. The only team worse than them is the Raiders. And for that reason, give me the Broncos. The Raiders are like the only team I'm confident in. And what am I trying to say? The only team that makes me confident in the Broncos is the Raiders. They're the only team I am fully confident the Broncos are able to beat. The Raiders should be better than they have been, but every time I pick them, it feels like they let me down. They've been a letdown in general this season. Chiefs going in to play the Chargers in LA. The Chiefs should be heavily favored in this game. The Chiefs, or the Chargers rather, just lost last week to the San Francisco 49ers. Justin Herbert did not handle that defense well at all. And I would honestly say the Chiefs have a defense that is comparable or perhaps even slightly better than the 49ers. This is going to be an upset pick. You guys know I like picking upsets. It's probably going to end up being wrong, I'll give you that caveat. But for my upset pick this week, give me the Chargers beating the Chiefs. Give me the Chargers beating the Chiefs, and apparently that drops the Jets from playoffs. That's crazy. Now we have the Bengals coming off of their bye week. They're going to Pittsburgh to play the Steelers. Last week I picked the Steelers to win in an upset, and they came through for me, got me the win. But I don't think they're going to do it in back-to-back weeks. I just simply don't. I think the Bengals, especially coming off the bye, are going to be energized. It took everything the Steelers had to beat the Saints. And also I picked all home teams winning in the AFC so far. Give me the Bengals beating the Steelers. Still can't get the playoff spot over the Ravens though, that's tough. Alright, moving into the NFC. Get it out of there. We have the Rams going into New Orleans to play the Saints. Now, Cooper Kupp got a high ankle sprain against the Cardinals. That usually means missing some time. Depends on the severity of it. But I'm going to operate under the assumption, as I operated under the assumption with Josh Allen, although I ended up being proven wrong on that one, that Cooper Kupp will not be playing in this game. I'm going to assume that. I picked the Rams last week and they let me down. Do I think they have enough to beat the Saints? Yes, I do. Am I confident in them beating the Saints? Not really, especially if Kupp isn't there. This might be another upset pick, but give me the Saints over the Rams. The Detroit Lions going into New York, both teams coming off of wins last week. The Lions got a nice little win over the Bears. The Giants beat, who did the Giants beat? They beat the Texans, that's right. I went too far. I was like getting confused. I went too far there. The Lions did look pretty good last week. They even looked decent the week before that as well, when they beat the Packers. Give me... We had 2 wins in a row. I think the Giants have become 2 wins too. The Lions do have a little bit of momentum right now, but the Giants just look so good. I kind of have a hard time betting against them at the moment. I feel like I could be wrong on this. I could see the Lions pulling this one out, going on a nice little 3-game win streak here, but my brain is telling me the Giants got this. Bears going into Atlanta. The Bears should have had that win against the Lions, honestly. And Justin Fields has just continued to get better and better, especially his run game. The Falcons, they've now lost 2 games in a row where either one they could have gone into sole possession of first place in the NFC South, but they just haven't been able to do it. They should be 6-4 right now. You know, I think they could have won both those games. Same with the Bears. The Bears should have a much better record right now. But in this matchup, I've picked the Falcons 2 weeks in a row now, and they've proven me wrong. I picked against the Bears last week, but this week, give me the Bears. The Cowboys going into Minnesota. Minnesota fans and the Vikings right now are going to be fired up. team in the NFL this season. The Vikings look incredible, and they're going to be so hype coming off of like the biggest win of the season for them so far, beating the Bills. They're 8-1. That team is gelling. That team is having fun. Kirk Cousins is feeling himself to a degree that I have never seen Kirk Cousins feel himself. Like, Kirk Cousins has always kind of gotten criticism for just sort of being good enough, but he is playing at such a high level this season and just looks like he's having fun with it. Justin Jefferson is playing like a top 3 wide receiver in the league right now. And the Vikings just look kind of unstoppable at the moment. I think, for as decent as the Cowboys looked last week, even though they did take the L to the Packers, I just think the Vikings are on a whole nother level right now. Give me the Vikings. And then we have the Niners versus the Cardinals, both teams coming off of nice wins. The Niners over the Chargers and the Cardinals beating the Rams. All of the NFC West, outside of Rams fans, obviously are happy right now to see them in the basement of the division, because they're one of the most hated teams in the league, let alone the NFC West fan bases. But between these two teams right now, especially, I don't know what Kyler's status is going to be for next week, even though Colt did look good. He looked solid, but that Niners defense, plus they have a lot of weapons on offense, I just think it's going to be too much to overcome. Give me the Niners over the Cardinals. Alright, and then we have our interconference game, Titans versus Green Bay on Thursday. Green Bay still got a big win last week. There's been a lot of noise around the team. And, a lot of people saying Aaron Rodgers sucks, people saying the front office sucks, the receivers suck, all that stuff, but I do think I still, for as many problems as the Packers have, I just kind of trust them a little bit more than the Titans at the moment. And I think Aaron Rodgers is going to be playing a bit angry, sort of like he was last game. Give me the Packers over the Titans. That might be a bit of an upset pick. I feel like the Titans are probably the favorite here, but give me the Packers. Commanders at Texans. Texans are the worst team in the league. Commanders got an amazing, unexpected win against the Eagles last week. One that I honestly should have predicted. It's kind of what my heart was telling me, but I knew I was going to get flamed for it, so I got scared out of not making that prediction. Like I said, I just have like a weird amount of faith in the Commanders for some reason. I don't know why, but I just feel like on paper that team is better than their record. And I feel like every week the Commanders play good enough to win, even though they're not getting the wins. But like they should be. I don't know, maybe I'm just too much of like a Commanders drain or something, but against the Texans I think they got that. Give me the Commanders. Eagles at Colts. Eagles finally getting their first loss of the season against the Commanders last week. They were the only undefeated team left for many, many weeks. And then they took their first L. The Colts finally getting back into the... Wait, did the Colts win last week? Or is it did the Titans? I think yeah, they did. They beat the Raiders, that's right. But honestly, I feel like getting their first loss might end up being a little bit beneficial for the Eagles, because when you have that 0 in your loss column, right, you can sometimes play a little stiff, play a little bit scared, and you're playing more not to lose than you are playing to win. You see this a lot with undefeated boxers, or, like when, you kind of see in the NBA sometimes when players have, like, contract incentives to stay above a certain field goal percentage, they start shooting less often, right? So having that 0 there can kind of change the way the team plays a little bit because you're so scared to lose it. But now that the Eagles have lost it, now they're no longer undefeated, I think that could end up being a good thing for them. Maybe it loosens them up a little bit. Maybe they have a little bit more fun with it out there. So, even though the Colts are coming off a win, give me the Eagles in this game. I think they bounce back and get a win here. Then Ravens coming out of the bye week against the Panthers. Panthers have 2 wins in a row now. Last week with PJ Walker, the week before that with Baker. I mean, they're getting hot at the wrong time, right? They should have been doing this from out of the gate, but Ravens off the bye week, I think they might put a little bit of a damper on this short little hot streak the Panthers have been on. Give me the Ravens at home against the Panthers, getting the win there. So those are my predictions for week 11. In the AFC, I have the Patriots beating the Jets. I have the Bills beating the Browns. I have the Broncos beating the Raiders. The Chargers beating the Chiefs in an upset. And the Bengals beating the Steelers. In the NFC, I have the Saints upsetting the Rams. I have the Giants beating the Lions. I have the Bears beating the Falcons. The Vikings beating the Cowboys. And the 49ers beating the Cardinals. In our interconference game, I have the Packers beating the Titans. Not sure if that's an upset, but it might be. The Commanders beating the Texans. The Eagles beating the Colts. And the Ravens beating the Panthers. So, those are my predictions for week 11 of the NFL season. Let me know in the comments down below what you guys agree or disagree with, what you think about these predictions. I try to go through once a week or so and respond to comments, so I'd love to hear any and all feedback. If you liked the video, please leave a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more content just like this almost every single day. Until next time, guys, bye bye.